Hey everybody, Keith Hilson at the Trombone Shop at Schmidt Music here. Just want to do a quick maintenance video. Want to talk a little bit about valve lubrication today, how to take care of our valve. For a lot of us trombonists, after our hand slide, the next moving component we have to worry about is the valve. Obviously there are different valve designs. Today we're going to focus just briefly on the rotary valve. Probably the most common design that we see. And what's really nice about the rotary valve is there's not a whole lot of maintenance that goes into it. Just a couple different areas we have to get some lubrication in to keep everything moving well. So if we think about the rotary valve design, we have two major areas we have to keep lubricated. We have the inside of the valve, where we've got the valve itself sitting inside the valve casing, rotating. We want to get some lubrication inside of there. And then we have a few bearing points on the outside of the valve and a few linkage points that we want to keep lubricated as well. So we are going to lubricate the inside of the valve first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my main tuning slide, just like so. And I am going to take some of my rotor oil. So there's any number of different varieties of rotor oil. There's petroleum-based, there's synthetic. We prefer the synthetics here. We find them to be a little more consistent. We also like the fact you can get them in different weights, different thicknesses to match the valve that works best for you. So we're using a lightweight rotor oil from Hetman right now. And so what I'm going to do is just going to send it right down into the valve, right through the neck pipe here. Now, of course, if I don't touch anything on the valve and I put the oil down through here, the oil is going to run straight through and back out the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to depress the valve halfway. So the best way to see that is that the linkage is sitting halfway between the two bumpers. The way I always describe it, if we try to play like this, nothing's going to come out because the air is blocked. But in this case, we want to get that valve surface sitting in the way so we can get the oil on. So I'm going to push the valve halfway. I'm going to take my rotor oil, just put 6, 8, 10 drops down. Gonna let it sit for a second. And then we're just gonna go like so here. Just work it through. Hopefully in a lot of cases that should be enough for you. If for some reason you get some oil on there and it's still making noise, or you're having other issues, the biggest things I talk about is either you can hear it making noise, hear it going ch 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 ch, or you can actually feel a disruption. It feels kind of gritty inside, it's not moving as well as you'd like. Then we want to get some oil in, or if it sticks either when you're depressing the valve or you're releasing the valve, it sticks back up, then of course we want to get some other lubrication in there. So if just putting it down the neck pipe doesn't do enough, then the next place I'll go is through the other loops of the F attachment. So I'll pull off the F attachment tuning slide and put some oil down through here, put some oil down through as well, kind of guide it through, try to get to the different quadrants of the valve to keep everything moving well. So that is the inside of the valve. Now we're also going to take care of the outside of the valve. So we have two different sides of the outside of the valve. We have the front here where we have our valve cap. Like so, we take the valve cap off and we have what we call the bearing plate. So this is what holds the valve in place. This is how they access the valve. And in the middle here, we've got one of our bearing surfaces. We have the shaft of the valve coming through here. You can see maybe the shaft of the valve moving inside of here. We want to get some lubrication on there as well. Because this is a little more of an exposed surface, we want to use a little bit thicker oil. In this case, we are going to use what they call bearing and linkage oil. Again, comes in different weights, different thicknesses. Again, we're going to use a lightweight oil today. And what I'm going to do is take the valve in the valve section, just set it down, and just going to go like so. But again, just a few little drops sitting on top of there, and then we're going to put our valve cap back on. On the back side of the valve, we have our valve shaft, and you can see the valve shaft heading into the valve casing here. And again, because we have this surface where we've got metal against metal, we want to get some lubrication inside. And in particular, in that little gap right here between the linkage and the shaft itself. And so this is where that needle applicator comes in handy. And we're going to take and put just a few little drops of oil down inside of there like so. Same thing, work it through. And then I'm going to do the same thing on all of our little linkage points here. So for some of us, we still have string linkages, but most commonly now we do see mechanical linkages instead. These are going to be based on some type of ball bearing system usually. And so again, just like anything else, we want to get some lubrication in there. So same thing, I'm going to put just a couple of drops of oil there, little drops of oil either side of there. And then I'll even do the same thing on our trigger assembly on either side here. Sometimes we'll have folks come in who have issues with the screw holding the trigger assembly together, actually slowly working its way loose out of the linkage, the mechanism here. And one of the big things that happens is it's just not lubricated, and the trigger itself is actually kind of grabbing and gripping the screw and twisting it out of its housing. And so my biggest rule of thumb is any place we have metal moving against metal, we want to get some lubrication in there. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope that made a little bit of sense there. So, of course, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave those below in the video here. Likewise, if you like the video here, think about giving a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so, think about subscribing to the channel. Helps give us some inspiration to create more of these videos that will hopefully be of use to you. And if you're interested as well, think about checking us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Thank you very much for watching.